what's up? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Ebun. If it's your first time on my channel, thank you for stopping by. You are welcome. Man, it's been a very long time that I sat to do a sit down video. I've been doing vlogs now and I've been inconsistent for some weeks, but yeah, that's not the point. I've kind of actually missed doing sit down videos. So today's video is going to be about the postgraduate work permit application process in Canada. And the reason why I'm doing this video is because I feel like for the people that subscribe to my channel for like Canada content or moving to Canada, I've kind of neglected those set of people for a little while because I haven't really done that kind of video in a while. So I was like, why not? And I'm sure that people that come here to study as well will also want to know like the work permit process, how they can, you know, start working after school, or people that come here, well, not really the express entry, it doesn't really fit in this category. But yeah, basically it's for people that, you know, come here to school, masters or a graduate program, or actually even if it's your bachelor program as well. You want to know like how's the work permit process, or how can you start working after school, you know, how long do you have to wait and things like that. So I'm here to answer your questions. So is it something that you're interested in listening to, or you know, if you're in this category and you're preparing for that part of the immigration process, this video is for you. Stay tuned, subscribe. Like I said before, Pgwp stands for postgraduate work permit, and basically the process just allows students that have graduated from like an eligible designated learning institution, DLIs. I know in my kind of videos I put a list of eligible DLIs, so if you're applying for schools right now, just ensure that your school is on that list, so you will not hear stories that such. The postgraduate work permit is exempt from the labor market assessment thing. So the company is open, it's basically open work permit, so you can work for any company or anybody here. They don't have to do that labor assessment thing that they do, I think, if they're trying to hire like foreign workers. So you can work full-time, you can work part-time, or you can even be self-employed actually. Another thing to note is that it is usually based on the length of your program of study. So from a minimum of 8 months, so if you do a program for a minimum of 8 months, you qualify, up until if you do 3-4 years like that. So the minimum they'll give you is like 8 months to 1 year, and then the highest work permits, like the length that they'll give you, is like 3 years. I know like that's really a tricky question. People are always like, you know, is 1 year enough for you when you get the postgraduate work permit program, when you get the postgraduate work permit, and then to, you know, work, and then for you to qualify for the PRD? The thing is just that people prefer the 3 years, and that's why some people come here to do 2 programs. For example, if it's a graduate program, they do 8 months and they do another 8 months. So with that, they kind of qualify for the 3 years postgraduate work permit. Or some people come here, you know, when you just do masters, so masters programs is like 2 years. Already you qualify for 3 years postgraduate work permit program. Or if you come here to just do your bachelor's, which is like 3-4 years as well, you get the 3 years work permit. So some people prefer that because it just gives them a long time for them to, you know, find a job, work up to 1 year, and then apply for the Canadian experience class, which they call that a permanent residency pathway thing very often. So you easily qualify for that as long as you worked up to a year. So people are always like, you know, if they come here to do 1 year program, the thing is, if within that year you're able to get a good job in the knock code classification stuff, if you're able to get a good job and then you work 1 year, it's just a little tricky. So people mostly prefer the 3 years anyway. It's just preference and favor, honestly. But yeah, it's a minimum of 8 months to 1 year they'll give you, and the only maximum is 3 years that you get. If you like do if you like do bachelor's, do masters together with PhD, the highest they'll give you is 3 years. So visa officers usually confirm the duration of your study, you know, based on your supporting documents and stuff like it. Maybe like your transcripts, a letter from your school and things like that, just so they're sure of the duration of study. One thing to note is that the validity of the Pgwp will not go beyond your passport validity. So let me tell you guys, if you have to renew your passport, please do so. Although if for example you qualify for the 3 years but your passport expires within a year, they would give you the Pgwp for just that year, and then once you renew your passport, you can reapply for them to extend it. But that's just, they wouldn't just extend regularly, but for that, you know, seeing that you actually qualified for 3 years but you got 1 year because of your passport, you have to apply again to renew or extend or something like that, and then they'll give you your remaining 2 years. So it's just easier if you have your passport, you know, if you can. Obviously, if your passport is expiring 2 years from now and you qualify for 3 years, you cannot renew your passport now because you still have 2 more years. Duh. But yeah, if it's really close, your passport is expiring like 6 months, 7 months, try to renew it just so you don't have to be doing, if it's very close, so you don't have to be doing like back and forth. But there's one thing you should note. They only give the Pgwp one time. You can only get it one time in your lifetime. Like, the only time you can extend it is if probably your passport wasn't valid for the entire 3 years, and probably they just give you 1 year or 2 years, or for the entire 1 year they're supposed to give you. Your passport is expiring after 6 months. They'll give you that 6 months, you apply again to extend. I think you have to pay as well. Yeah, I think you have to pay for them to extend it, and they'll give you that, the balance of your Pgwp. But like, you cannot reapply to get, like, if your 3 years is done, that's it. If your 1 year is done, that's it. You can only apply for it one time. So you have to make up your mind. If you want to go to school for 8 months or 1 year, do that. Don't apply. If you know you want to do another 1 year, don't apply for your postgraduate work permit after you finish the 1 year. Do all the school that you want to do and apply if you want, because you cannot apply again and again and again. So if you want to do, if you're a type of person that wants to do like 8 months and do another 8 months, so for the first 8 months is over, like for school, be applying for the next school or the next program that you want to attend to. Continue that one, like after your first one is done, resume for the next year that you want to do, and then after that apply for a postgraduate work permit. So you cannot apply for your postgraduate work permit, then go to school again and apply for another one. They're not going to give you. Basically, that's all the talk I'll be talking since. I hope you guys get that. So right now I'm going to say the eligibility requirements. So the first one is you have to have graduated from an eligible DLI, designated learning institution. Like I said earlier, you have to have graduated, not like you will soon graduate. You don't have to have done the ceremony, but like you should have finished your final exams, and there's a letter your school will give you, just like confirmation that you know you're done with your program, blah blah blah, you did this program for this duration, blah blah blah. So that letter is essential for you to upload in the application, as well as your transcript. So those are the two major things that you need. And then, you know, there are application forms that you have to fill, kind of similar to the study permit one, but yeah, it's just, one is application to change your status, I think, and then the second one is, I think, application for temporary permits or something, I don't remember. And then you have to upload your passport, you have to upload your passport transcript, that letter of confirmation from your school, bank statements, but it's not really a big deal. And then yeah, I think that's major. The application is very simple, and I think it's $100. It's not as rigorous as the study permit application, but it's $100. That's the fee. And then yeah, that's that's what you have to submit. The second one, I think I've said this earlier, your program should have been at least 8 months and above. You know, 6 months you're not qualified, so from 8 months and above, so that's the minimum that you have to have studied for. Third one is you must have maintained full-time student status during the course of your study. Yeah, fine, when you're on holiday, when you're like on school breaks, you could have worked full-time, but like during school period you must be a full-time student, and then you could be working part-time. They don't really care about that. The fourth thing is you must currently hold a temporary status. So I'm going to tell you guys my story at the end of this, when I finish saying all the requirements and stuff. I'll just tell you guys my process and how everything was. But then you must currently hold a temporary status, either still on your study permit, or you should have you should have applied for a visitor's record, or you should be in an implied status. The implied status is basically, for example, your study permit is expiring, you must have submitted an application to extend or renew your study permit. So the period while you're waiting for them to approve or get back to you on the application, you're currently on an implied status. So your study permit has expired, but you're still good to remain in the country, because before it literally expires, let's say your study permit is expiring tomorrow, by today you must have before tomorrow you must have submitted an application to renew, so you can continue to still chill. Yeah, so that's basically the implied status meaning. Visitor record is your changing your status to a visitor while waiting for your postgraduate work permit, or kuku leave Canada. Basically just leave Canada, because you can apply for a postgraduate work permit outside of Canada as well. You don't have to be in Canada to apply. The only difference is if you apply for postgraduate work permit outside Canada, they're going to also give you, once they approve, they're going to also give you a TRV. That's the temporary residence visa, so the visa for you to travel in Canada. But if you apply in Canada, they're only going to give you the postgraduate work permit. So my dears, once you get that, make sure, if you know like you want to travel outside the country, maybe you want to go back to Nigeria or your home country or wherever you're coming from, or you want to go on vacation, make sure you've applied and received your own TRV. That's the visa stamp and stuff on your passport. So you must have that on your, like, in your passport, because if you leave without that TRV, just say bye-bye, because you can't come back inside. So basically that's the only difference between applying inside Canada and applying outside Canada. So inside Canada, you don't get the TRV automatically, you have to apply for it again, and I think you have to pay, that's $100 again, imagine. But if you're applying outside of Canada for your postgraduate work permit, yeah, they'll give you the visa so you can travel inside. And also note that when you apply for your study permit, you'll see that, I think, if you're, of course, that's if your passport is still valid for that period, they'll give you additional, I think it's 3 months, or is it 2 months? I think additional 3 months, like 90 days. And that period is just like after your school. So for example, if my school's finishing in April, when I apply for my study permit, they'll give me the visa up until July. May, June, July. So that's extra 3 months. So that 3 months, the period between when I'm done with my final exams and I get my transcripts and whatever, up until July, that's the period for me to apply for my postgraduate work permit if I still want to be in Canada, like, so I can work full-time. Or if I'm like, I'm done within July, pack your bags and leave. So you have within that period to apply for a postgraduate work permit. So I think that's it for the eligibility requirements. I'm going to say some other things to note. You can work full-time while you wait for them to get back to you regarding your postgraduate work permit. So you're allowed to work full-time. For example, I submitted my postgraduate work permits. For example, this is October 9. Let's say I submitted it October 1st. So I've submitted it, I'm allowed to work full-time. They'll even give you a letter 2 days after. Well, I got my letter 2 days after, or this second day, but literally I got my letter 2 days after saying that they received my postgraduate work permit application. I'm able to work full-time up until they get back to me. They put like when the month they'll get back to me. For example, let's say December. So we received the application, you can work full-time, show this letter to your employer or whoever you're working with, and up until we get back to you in December, for example. So you get that letter, and when you get a job, you can show it to them as proof that your postgraduate work permit is in works, and yeah, you're allowed to work full-time basically, and it will count towards your experience. Do you understand? So as long as you have a valid status, that's not for visitor record. If you have a visitor record, I don't think you can work here a visitor technically, so you just have to chill. If you have implied status, I think, yeah, you can still work full-time. And if you have study permits, you can still, if your study permit is still valid, you can still go on working. One very big thing as well is make sure that during your period, like as a student and working part-time, or working, yeah, as a student, as a full-time student working part-time, not like when the school was on like a break, but like as a full-time student, you didn't exceed the 20 working hours or the 20 hours allotted to you, because obviously that as a student you're allowed to work for only 20 hours per week. You must not go beyond that. So just make sure you don't exceed that, because if they find out it's going to affect your postgraduate work permits, they can deny you or reject you. So try not to be sneaky, just obey the rules. Once you get your postgraduate work permit, your partner or your spouse or your common law partner, however they say it, is eligible to apply for an open work permit as well, based on the fact that you have the work permit status. So I saw that on their website, so that's good if you're a spouse. Oh, yeah, sorry, if you have a spouse, yeah. So yeah, I think I'm done saying like all the major requirements and stuff. I'm just going to say my own version of my experience. So I finished my school in like April, and if you guys watched my moving to Canada during the pandemic video, you know that my journey was crazy. So I already started like school back in Nigeria before I came in here. So first of all, my study permit was going to expire exactly by the end of April, which was, I was going to be done with school like mid-April. So my study permit was going to expire by the end of April actually. And for my school, you know, I reached out to them because I needed that letter and a transcript for you to apply for the postgraduate work permit. So they said they won't be able to give me that letter until, I think even at the transcript, until in May. But by May, my study permit would have expired. So I was like, and I think what I even asked them, because I just assumed that, oh, after my exam in like a week, I'll get my letter from the school and my transcript, and I'll still be in status and just quickly submit my postgraduate work permit, because I was already filling the forms on the website. Like when you fill in other stuff, like the forms on your website, on the portal, you have the 2 forms. I already filled the 2 forms, so I was just literally waiting for the transcript and the letter from my school so I can submit my application quick. So you're thinking, oh, by 1 week I'll be done, you know, I'll get my stuff and then I can submit the stuff. So I'll literally be on implied status, which is still good. So my school told me that, you know, they won't be able to send me that letter. I won't get that letter until in May. And literally this was like April 21. So I had like, let's say 9 days to submit my postgraduate work permit. So I had to, before my study permit expired, which would have been in 9 days, I had to apply for a study permit extension. I was done with school. I don't need to study. I just needed to have that extension till July, because I really didn't get that extra 3 months, because I was meant to have resumed in like last year May, but I deferred my admission to September because of the pandemic. You guys can watch that video. I'm going to link it up. Is it usually here I think, yeah, I'm going to link it up here so you guys should not watch it. So yeah, so the 3 months I had, the extra time I had was based on the initial resumption I was meant to resume. So I needed to extend it to the actual one, which would have been till July. So I had to apply to extend my study permit. That was extra money I had to pay. So annoying. And I wrote like a letter of explanation, just very brief. It wasn't even long, like 4 lines, just trying to let the visa officer know that, oh, I'm done with school, I paid all my fees. So I attached all my fees receipts, everything, just to show that I'm done with school, but I need to have the study permit status for me to apply for my postgraduate work permit. So that kind of explanation I put in the letter, just very short, and I had to submit application. Thankfully, around I think I submitted, yeah, literally the next day. I just had to put everything together quickly. So the next day, around like April 22nd, I submitted the study permit extension. I was done with school, but I had to still extend it because, like I said, you have to have a valid status. So I wouldn't have been able to apply for my postgraduate work permit if I didn't extend my study permit. So I submitted the application, and then that was in April. Around June, yeah, around June or so, yeah, I got a response that they approved my study permit extension, thankfully. So they sent me my extended study permit, a new study permit letter in the mail. So when I got that, I already received my letter from the school and my transcript at that time. So that was when I was not able to apply for the postgraduate work permit as well. So that's just one thing about the implied status. And I wasn't in, you know, once I submitted that, I was good. I was just chilling for them to respond to me regarding the approval of the study permit extension. So just make sure you're in good standing. Make sure you're not out of validity of your papers, because it will count against you. They can see everything, you know, everything is in their system. They know when you're supposed to leave Canada. So if you're still there when you are not supposed to be there, or you've not applied to extend, you've not changed your status or things like that, I'm sorry for you. They're going to catch you at the end of the day. So just try to make sure that you're still in validity of your stuff. So yeah, that was the whole thing. And then I submitted in June and got a response from them September 1st, although they approved it August 30th, but I didn't get the mail up until September 1st, so it took quite a while. But yeah, I was able to work full-time as long as you submit your, when I submitted it 2 days after, I got the letter from them saying, you know, you can keep on working up until we get back to you in September. They said they'll get back to me in September, and they did. September 1st, that's when I received my work permit. So that was my application. It takes quite a while, especially with pandemic, and just generally it takes a very long time. And just make sure you apply for a TRV as well if you know you're going to travel outside of Canada, because your work permit is not like a travel document. So you can leave, but you can't enter. That's the problem. Don't disturb you when you're going. You can go free, but you cannot come back inside. So that's just it. Yeah, if you guys have any questions or comments or anything, let me know. Leave it in the comment section. I was going to actually do like a walkthrough of the form, but seriously you guys, it's very easy. But if you still want me to do like a walkthrough of the process, that's like I did for the study permit, I'll link it here for you guys to watch it when I did like a visual demonstration. I can do that, but I didn't plan to do that today because it's very easy. You will see the requirements are like, it's very short. Literally all you need is your passport. Obviously there are 2 forms that you have to fill. You download it from the portal. You fill the 2 forms. You also have to upload your transcript and the letter of completion stuff your school will give to you, and financial bank statement also. But it's not really crucial like the study permit. Still upload something, but I'm saying like they're not going to say, oh, you have no funds to work. Doesn't make any sense. So don't worry about the financial stuff. It's just very easy to fill, and it's $100 Canadian dollars for it. And the TRV, if you want to apply for the TRV as well, is $100 again. Or you also have to be patient because it takes a while. And one thing I'll say is start looking for a job like before you even finish your final exam, like while you're in your final semester. You know, even I feel like even if you're coming here to study, you should already have an idea of, you know, where you want to work, what type of work you want to do, and things like that. So start applying from your final semester so you don't waste that, especially if you're going to have a 1-year work permit. So you don't waste that 1 year, you don't waste the first 5 months trying to look for a job, you know, and submit applications and all of that stuff. Anyway, if you guys have any questions, leave it in the comment section. I've missed doing sit-down videos actually. My makeup is looking on point, as you guys know. This hair is from Queen Latte, and I'm very happy. Like, I just feels really excited. This week has been just giving me good vibes. But anyway, wish you guys success in all of your applications. If you guys have any questions, for sure leave it in the comment section. And thank you for subscribing. Keep subscribing. Let's get to 1,000 subscribers. Thank you very much for watching my video. I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.